All right, today we're talking about the top 5 hacks for keyword research. And of course, I'm going to be joined by my trusty sidekick and co-host, Chrissy Owens. How are you today, Chrissy?
Hello, I am good. We've had a busy day today.
Yeah, been a little bit busy. We kicked off this morning with Sub Club, one of our private coaching groups, and then moved into 2.5 hours of training with EXP. So they just launched a new Elevate platform, and premium coaching platform is what they call it. It is a paid coaching service. And we are the first ones to launch YouTube Mastery with EXP as a brokerage. Had some great people on the training, lots of engagement, lots of questions. And for the first session, I think it went really well. So we're excited to see how that plays out over the next couple of weeks. Then we jumped into a 2-hour webinar, and then now we're doing this, and then I'm about to head off to the Rangers game. So I got my gear on.
That's a pretty cool shirt. I'm not going to lie. That is a cool shirt.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all of our company colors. You did that on purpose. I know that they created their company colors for our
We'll see now. Yeah, I can wear the passive prospecting hat with it as well. And so I can still represent. I can still represent and brand while I still support the Rangers. But yes.
Exactly.
All right, so 5 hacks for keyword research. Let's see what you got. You want to start off? We want to go number 5, and then we can kind of talk back and forth about it. Because I have no idea. I threw this on Chrissy, and I was like, hey, can you take lead on this one last second and put something together here? I mean, I can talk about what I want to talk about, but I said, okay, you tee us up here, and we'll talk through that.
Yes, up. That was definitely a perfect way to say it with you going to the Rangers game today. So first off, I just want to say keyword research is extremely important. I would say it's the number one thing you should be doing with every single one of your videos for a couple of reasons. One, if you're not creating the right content, you're not going to find the right audience, and you're not going to get the right calls and reach outs. Creating the right content is absolutely king. They say that content is king, but I say that the right content is king, because you could create content all day long, but if it's crap content, or it's content that doesn't serve the audience that you're trying to reach, it won't actually get you calls or reach out. So keyword research is extremely important, and you need to make that your foundation when you're creating content for real estate specifically.
Real quick.
Real
quick on that, just because it's funny you said that, because when we were at a Growth Video conference last month or 2 months, I don't know, however long ago that was, Sean Cannell was up there, and he said content used to be king, but now he said quality is king. And that's, people are saying that social is getting saturated right now, but is it saturated with quality content, or is it just coming out, everybody's trying to start this or that, or gain attention here or there? And so quality, he said quality is king. And it's funny, you just said good content is king. So I think in the same lines, right? Quality.
Well, and I think it's interesting too, because there are 2 different philosophies when it comes to creating content. And when you're working on like a global scale, you're not really niching down to a geography specifically. A lot of times just putting out, generalized content can get you some views. And if that's your goal, you're trying to get views, you're trying to get monetized, and you're trying to get ad revenue, sometimes that can be effective. But when we're working in a geographic niche, you have to be very careful to create the correct type of content, because if you veer from the formula, you're really not going to attract the right people. You could get views, but views does not equate to calls, and that's really important to keep in mind. So I mean, as you start your journey with YouTube, no matter where you're at in your journey with YouTube, always you need to go back to the fundamentals, and the fundamentals will always yield the best results for you. So the number 1 tip, or number 5, I should say, we'll work down from 5 down to 1, is to start with some type of keyword research tool. We use TubeBuddy, and TubeBuddy, I get this question quite a bit, is TubeBuddy better than vidIQ? Because those are kind of the 2 major players when it comes to keyword research tools. TubeBuddy is better for local SEO. vidIQ is better for generalized or broad spectrum SEO. And vidIQ, if you're looking for viral hits, you're looking for, bigger, broader key phrases, vidIQ is going to help you with that. TubeBuddy is very specific to the geographic niche. That's not to say vidIQ doesn't have some of those tools, but as I've done apples to apples tests with both of these, and I've used both of these for different purposes, I've just found that TubeBuddy yields way better results for local businesses. So I would recommend doing that. We recommend the Legend version of that license just because you can do split testing with the Legend license. And you really want to be able to do that with your thumbnails, with your titles, even with down to your descriptions. That split testing is really invaluable when it comes to building off of the good traffic that you're getting. Once you can kind of hone in on some of those smaller details and those smaller statistics, that's where you see a lot of the growth, especially, 3, 6, 9 months into the channel, once you start actually needing to do that split testing. So number one, start with TubeBuddy or some type of, if you decide that you want to go with another one, that's totally fine, but TubeBuddy recommends. So start with a keyword research.
And you can use the discount code Passive Prospecting Buddy 25 for 25% off. So
exactly.
There you go. Yeah.
Perfect. And so the second one that I would say is you really have to get into the mind of your consumer as well. And this is a very generalized marketing tactic that you do need to think about the person who you are speaking to on camera. How are they searching for your area? If you are thinking about what you think about, you're probably going to come up with, how do I buy a house? Or how do I find a mortgage broker? Or what is the best restaurant in my community? That's how a real estate agent thinks, because that's what we think that our audience wants, right? But if you're thinking like a buyer or seller, you're again going back to those keyword research tools, and you're realizing that we usually don't know what our audience actually wants until we look at the stats. So you have to think about, what would a buyer or seller really want? And that's spoken to within the analytics of something like a TubeBuddy or a vidIQ. So that one kind of comes off of the coattails of using TubeBuddy. But you have to get into the mindset of your consumer. Otherwise, you're just throwing content out to a broad audience, and you're probably not going to get the calls and leads that you want. So any thoughts on that, Levi? I'll move on to the next one if that's where we're going to leave it with that one.
Move on to the next one. Actually,
okay, cool.
Normally, I like to talk through everything and take our time on this, but yeah, I'm thinking about the Rangers game already. So I'm like, just go ahead and knock it out. I mean, if you finish in the next 5 minutes, I'll be good and we can. But we got a few questions coming in too as well. So Arizona Real Estate says hello, or is it hello Arizona? I like that. Hello Arizona Real Estate. I like that. That's a good name. Says congrats on the thanks. Appreciate that as well. So yeah, if we get some questions coming in, we'll definitely answer those. And but yeah, let's go on. We'll go on to the next one.
Cool. So this one is really fun. This one is to start short but go long. So when you start short and you go long, what that means is you want to start with short tail key phrases and move into long tail key phrases. If you start with long tail key phrases, it's going to get you a lot smaller traffic. Now, the great thing about long tail key phrases, as you kind of move through that, is though it has lower search volume, you're also going to have lower competition. But you're including some short tail key phrases in long tail key phrases. So if you start short, you maximize the number of key phrases that you can put in the title, in the description, in the tags, and so on and so forth. And so if you start short and build long, that means that you're maximizing your keywords and your key phrases within all of your different descriptions. So that, again, if you want to write that down, start short, go long. That's my usual way. And what you'll find too is that the short tail key phrases, a lot of times now, short tail key phrases, just to explain for those of you who aren't familiar, are 2 to 3 words long maximum. Anything longer than that is considered a long tail key phrase. So living in South Carolina, that's a long tail key phrase. Or moving to Dallas, that's a short tail key phrase. And so actually South Carolina, we'll consider that one word just because it is a location. So actually you could consider that a short tail key phrase. Or you could say moving to the south side of South Carolina. That's probably not even a search term, but that would be considered a long tail key phrase. And so the longer you go, the less search volume that you have, but also the less competition. So I would start with like living in Dallas or living in Dallas TX. Something along those lines before you start going longer. The next one that I would say is you need to check out your competitors' key phrases. This one is really good to do at the very beginning when you're just trying to understand, what types of channel names you should create, some of your channel key phrases that you want to put at a channel level. I would go through and find maybe the top 3 to 5 competitors in your geographic area. Go look at their channels and individual videos. And TubeBuddy and vidIQ, both tools actually give you some suggestions on what key phrases they're using within the videos. You can also, with TubeBuddy, you can see what they're ranking for as well. And so that can give you an idea of what you want to target, or another video that you want to create. Maybe they created a pros and cons of living in Denver, Colorado, and there are a couple of key phrases that were hitting off for them within their tag space. That would give you some ideas for some of your videos that you could create. So I would look at your competitors' key phrases and just see what you want to incorporate in your channel. Find some of the gaps that they're not actually giving their audience and create either a channel that fills that gap or individual videos that fill those gaps. And then the last thing I would say is you really need to understand the score when it comes to TubeBuddy. And this kind of brings it full circle. Again, you want to be using some type of keyword research tool. But if you don't understand the score, you can also be following the wrong little leprechaun into the end of the rainbow, right? Or following the gold shiny object. You need to understand that just because you have 100% score does not mean that that is a good key phrase, because what it's basically doing within TubeBuddy is that it's averaging a couple of major factors. You can get 100% with almost no search volume, because it's going to go after like competition, optimization, strength. You could have 2 or 3 things that are really, really good, but your search volume is extremely low. You can still get a 100% score on that, but that does not mean that people are actually searching for that term. So you need to understand your score. So the way that I usually like to look at it is the number one most important thing is search volume, because if you don't have search volume, you don't have viewers, you don't have eyeballs. The second thing I would look at is competition. Competition is definitely going to put a ding in your score. If there's like 1,000 videos on that one topic, there's not really a gap in the market for what you're looking to serve people with, you may have a harder time ranking for that key phrase. Optimization score is going to be, and then the overall score I would say is number 3, because if you do find that, it is a little bit higher competition, but there's good search volume and the optimization strength is pretty good, that means that you can just out optimize the next person there and you can still rank above those people. And maybe you would be the one serving them versus the person who was there before you. So I would say, again, search volume, your competition's number 2. I would actually say the next one on the list is optimization strength. And then finally, the overall score. The overall score is going to be probably the least important thing, just because there's so many other factors that actually contribute to that score. They're all important, but if I was going to rank them, those are the ones that I would look at one by one. So yeah, like I said, I'll just summarize those 5 for you again. So number 1, you want to use a keyword research tool. Number 2, you need to think like a buyer or a seller and not think like an agent. Number 3, you need to go short, then go long, or start short and then go long. Number 4, check out your competitors' key phrases and tags. And number 5, understand the score fully. And that's about it. As long as you do those things, you're going to be able to rank your videos very, very easily. And likely you can actually outrank people who have been there for a really long time. There have been times that we've had people who have come in with a fresh channel. They've never done videos before, and they're outranking people like Toll Brothers for the same key phrases in the same location, who have been there for 3 or 4 years. It's not unheard of. And in fact, we do that every single day. So as long as you're optimizing your videos well, you're doing the keyword research at the beginning rather than at the end, you're going to always be able to rank for those videos.
Now, you started out at number 5 and went to 1, and then you just went back and went 1 through 5. So is it?
I meant 5 through 1. However you want to go with it. Again, you always have to start. I wanted to start with
hello Arizona said, what was number 2? And I'm wondering, well, was number 2 number 4, or was number 4 number 2?
I would say, see, now I don't even know. I just wrote them down in order of what came to mind and how I go through my keyword research. I would say the number 1 most important is starting with TubeBuddy, some type of keyword research tool. Because again, If you don't start with that, you're not going to create the right content. And no matter how amazing your content is, it's not going to find the audience that you want. And then number two, we'll just go off of my list descending here. The number two one that I talked about was think like a buyer or a seller and not like a real estate agent.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So, okay, good. So let's see here. Yeah, I think we answered this. Provision Homes, 88 seconds late, saying buddy. Yeah, we were saying buddy. So we put the link here for passive prospecting. And then if you want the discount code, it's passive prospecting buddy 25, and that'll get you 25% off of TubeBuddy if you want to use that. Agents of Freedom says, yes, congrats on the baby. Awesome. The guy, I know that guy. He looks familiar. Oh, then Andy. I know Andy. Andy says, Agents of Freedom was actually me. I was logged in the wrong account. Andy, whose account are you hacking in there? Right? Who are you logging in there? Let's see. Okay, so buying a Colorado ski home. Oh, that's interesting. For, especially we were talking about on the earlier training, they're asking about secondary homes, or like that's what people search right there. That's thinking like a buyer right there. Buying a Colorado ski home. That's what people would actually search. So that's a good name, especially if you're in a ski town. Your primary target is second homes or investment or short-term rental. Buying a ski home. I like that. Pretty good. So I understand most of this, but can you go into optimization a little more?
Well, there's a lot of things about optimization. What exactly are you looking for with optimization? I could go down the rabbit hole with that one. I mean, optimization, you need to just go, and if you're wondering what I mean, oh, it's Stephanie and Lisa. Hi guys. They were just at our accelerator event just a month or so ago. So we got to meet them in person, which was pretty cool. But optimization. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, can you be more specific? Because it's kind of like whenever buyers or sellers are on our live stream and they're like, what's the best area to move? It's like, well, can you tell us a little bit about
what you're looking for?
What exactly optimization would you like to discuss?
There's a bunch of different things, maybe just to go from a broad perspective. Kind of what we talked about at our accelerator event, and we dove into this a little bit more, was just how you can optimize each individual piece. Because SEO and optimization, all it is a combination. It's a compilation of many small factors. A compounding of many small factors is something I usually say, because there's a lot of things that aren't make or break with an optimization. So maybe if you don't geotag one of your thumbnails, it's not going to make or break your channel. If you don't optimize your description perfectly, it's not going to make or break your channel. And that's the only thing that's off. But if you were to do every single one of those things right, from the description to the thumbnail to the tags to the title, if you did every single, and the content, obviously, if you did every single one of those things right, you are queued to be the top person in your market. And that's what SEO is. If you do all of those things consistently over time, there's no one that can beat you. And so it's important to kind of just pay attention to each individual piece that you channel, because every single piece that goes into your channel has the option to be optimized, down to even the description on your channel. In the back end of your channel, in the settings section, you can put tags that go across the entire channel. You can put a description that goes across the entire channel. Each thumbnail can have optimized titles and descriptions for metadata. You can geotag those thumbnails. I mean, there's just so many layers and levels. We talk about it in depth in our course, but you need to just take each individual item, each individual piece that you can optimize, anything that you can, maximize that, because that will pay off in spades. It will compound over time, and you'll be unbeatable in your market if you do that.
There you go. Let me see. Florida Mortgage Team says, can you use more than one channel with TubeBuddy? No.
Unfortunately not. That's a common question. Yeah, you have to have one channel per license. So if you already have one, now it is possible to transfer that license. I can confidently tell you it is a little bit difficult to do that. You have to reach out via email to their support to be able to transfer. So sometimes it's just easier to cancel the old one and start a new one. But yeah, it just depends on what you're trying to do with your TubeBuddy license.
There you go. Steph and Lisa said, thanks. That's helpful. Thank you. Good to see y'all. And I think that was we can keep it short, sweet, to the point. No reason to drag it on out. But I think really good highlights there. And of course, we can always dig in way deeper on the rabbit hole. But otherwise, those are 5 good points to get started with and to keep in mind. And for those of you in the program, make sure you go back to the optimization keyword modules on there as well, so you can really dig in deep on there. And anything else you want to add in there, Chrissy?
No, I would just say again, keyword research, it's the pillar of everything that we do. And it's really what sets you apart from every other real estate agent out there, because there's millions of agents on YouTube and people get concerned about the competition on YouTube. But the great news is that I would say a good percentage, 90% probably, of the agents on YouTube are not starting with keyword research. They're going with what they think is correct. And I have every day people who come to me with their channels, maybe 10 years in the making. They've been doing real estate content maybe for 10 years, just putting up listings or this or that and the other, never lead, or maybe 1 or 2 leads over those 10 years. Most people don't understand that they need to start with keyword research. And so when you think about the competition, it's really not that much competition if you do this right from the very beginning. You do need to make sure that you're very intentional about what you're creating with your content. And if you are blind, going in with just your own thought on what should be for your audience, you're going to miss the mark. If you go with the statistics, you will never lose. The statistics don't lie. And we have so much data to work with. That's the beautiful thing about YouTube. YouTube is a search engine and not a social platform. I was explaining this to somebody just a couple of days ago. And it's so easy to pull information. Google and YouTube work hand in hand, and you have so much information at your fingertips. Don't miss that crucial step of using those amazing tools that TubeBuddy and other tools will give you to be able to understand your audience better. And you can't lose when you do that first.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, that's it for today. Make sure you go to book.passiveprospecting.com/free if you want a free copy of the Passive Prospecting book. And you can also check the description box below for that link as well. But if you're listening on the podcast, you can go to book.passiveprospecting.com/free for your free copy of Passive Prospecting. Well, until next time, we hope to see you on YouTube. Awkward smile until the live stream.